It's the last one of the year. That's crazy. Well, we made it. We made it to the end of the year. Cheers to that. I hope you're doing as well as you can, and you can take time to reflect on what 2023 meant to you. Sweet goodness. Yeah, I'm excited for all of the crafty chaos that's to come in 2024. So with that being said, let's record this last episode for 2023. Take 77. What's good, peacemakers? Welcome back to another episode of the Piece4PeaceCrafting Podcast. I'm Michael, and this is my crafty corner of the YouTube universe. If you would like to find me on other social media, you can do so by following me over on Ravelry as Piece4PeaceCraft, or on Instagram and Threads as Piece4PeaceCrafting. If you like music and you would like to follow along to the playlist that goes with this silly little show, you can do so by hopping over to Spotify and following the Piece4Peace podcast. I always mess that one up. Piece4PeaceCrafting Podcast playlist. If you have trouble finding it, shoot me a DM over in Instagram and I will gladly send you the link. Those are all the places that you can find me. Otherwise, welcome. You found me here on YouTube. Hello. It is, like I said in the opening, this is our last episode for 2023. I can't believe it. For those of you who are returning, you already know. And for those of you who are new, who joined along the way in 2023, or maybe this is your first time clicking on me and you decided to see what was up, welcome. We are so happy to have you here in our little community that we are building here on YouTube. Yeah, welcome. I personally can't believe that the year is over. So this will be up on Saturday the 30th, which means like there's 2 more days. And then it's a new year, which is exciting. It's always fun. Fresh start, clean slate, something new. I'm sure some of you are getting your resolutions ready. We don't do those here. I more subscribe to I'd like to's. And we'll talk about that in the first episode of the new year, because there are a lot of things that I'd like to do this year. Actually, you know what would be fun? Maybe this is something for myself. I'm literally just speaking off the top of my head right now. Is I want to go back and now watch my episode from the beginning of this year and see what my I'd like to's were, and then I'll report back. I mean, you could also just go back and watch them. That might be funny for you. But yeah, I haven't done that. Like, what did I say that I was interested in wanting to do in the new year? And like, did I do any of them? Probably not. Let's be honest. All right. A couple of things before we get started. So, the last time we were together, we pulled, oh my gosh, was that just in the last episode? I feel like the past 2 weeks have been utter chaos, but that happens around this time of year. It's the winter holidays. Things are chaotic. But I'm trying to be as stress-free about all of it as possible. I'm gonna move myself a little bit closer. I feel far away from you all today. So then the last episode I talked to you all, there were winners for the Beautiful Sister bags, which was really lovely. All of the people who won, is that what we're calling it? A bag, got them, so that makes me happy. I always get a little bit nervous when sending stuff out because, like, whatever, the post can be the post. But everyone got them, everyone loved them, so that makes me super excited. I'm so happy. If you have not, you should definitely go over and check out Beautiful Sister. They make lovely bags. I use a lot of them. Also, too, there's only 2 more days left in the year, and so if you would like, you can use the offer code that is linked below for Red Stag Fibre. I think that's a code to get you 10% off until the end of the year. So if you haven't done so already and you'd like to check out some of their yarn, I would go over and I would use the link that is down below and the offer code just to get you a little bit of money off. I don't get anything from that. I just, oh, sorry to kick you. I don't get anything from that. I just am here to share the goods with everyone. And is there any other fun stuff that I'm supposed to talk about? Oh yeah. Okay, so in the last episode, I talked about how I wanted to, I hope that me just like constantly clapping, like I'm the mom in The Nutty Professor sitting at the table, Hercules, is not messing with the mic. Anyway, I talked about how I wanted to cast on the Artus Shawl by Natasha Hornby, I think is her name. I don't have the pattern in front of me. On January 1st, right? And I believe that she is also doing a knit along for it starting then too, which I debated on if I thought that was awkward. It's like, oh, what are you doing? Like the designer's doing their own thing. But then I thought, like, who cares? And feel free to go over there and double dip if you want. I don't care about whips or any of that stuff. So what I'm doing is I'm going to do a knit along for the Artus Shawl. It's going to be from January 1st through February 29th. So it'll give us 2 months to complete it. And I did a poll on, I should have done another one. It's fine. I did a poll over on Instagram and on Threads. And like not many people voted, which is fine because like I know a lot of people don't look at stories. But I thought it might be fun to do like a Zoom cast on party, just like all of us who want to participate, who have the time, who are available, to just like jump on a Zoom for a little bit. I don't know, like an hour and a half. I say an hour and a half, and then it's gonna be 2 hours. An hour and a half to just like cast on, show yarns that you're using, talk, just like hang out for a little bit and like cast on together. And people seem to be into it. So I'm gonna do it. It'll be my first time doing a Zoom with folks. Well, like me hosting it, not like I've done Zooms, obviously. I am alive in 2023. I've like moderated Zooms. I've been to other people's Zooms. I sit in them for work. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. So down below, there will be a Google form. Fingers crossed I can figure that out. I'm sure I can. There'll be a Google form. And all you have to do is just like put your name and your email. I don't do newsletters, so don't think like, oh my gosh, I'm about to get spam. Like, I don't do all that. Put your name and your email, and I will send you a link to the Zoom chat. And then I'm thinking New Year's Day, so January 1, obviously we cast on together, at 11 a.m. Central Time. So work that out for yourselves. So that would be 12 on the East Coast and 11 to 9. Ooh, that's early for you West Coast folks. Y'all are up. It's 9 o'clock. you're having coffee. You're fine. Get your needles. Let's go. And then for my friends around the world, my math and my timing isn't that good to quickly figure that out. So hopefully that time works for people who don't live in the States. Yeah, so like send your email. I will email out like the Zoom info. I feel like that might be the easiest way. For some reason, I just get a little bit worried about putting that information down in the comments below here on YouTube because in the nicest way possible, sometimes people are trash and I don't want anyone like doing anything crazy, like hacking it or like coming, you know what I mean? It's just like, I'd rather send it out to people that actually want to do it. So once this goes up, you have until, I don't know, let's say 9 Central Time on the 1st to like put your name, like fill out the form and send it to me. And then I'll send out the link around that time. So in the morning on the 1st is when you'll get the link. And then, yeah, we'll just go from there. Like, I thought about maybe doing 2 more, like 1 halfway and then 1 at the end, but like, we'll get there when we get there. But for sure, I want to do one for starting off the year. Anyway, okay, enough about that. So that's the Artus shawl. If you want to play along and you use Instagram, you can use the hashtag ArtusPeace, like PEACE, cow, and that'll be my hashtag for the knit along. And then I don't remember what the designer's using, but also use that one too because like that's fun. And then for those who Ravelry is accessible, I'll put up a little thread over in Ravelry and we can chit chat and do all the fun things over there. You can show your progress, yada yada yada. For those where Ravelry isn't accessible and maybe you're not on Instagram, I do have a question about, and I think I may have posed this before here, but I'm not sure. If you all use Ravit, like RAVIT, I think is the app. Anyway, it's like an app that syncs to your Ravelry. And I've been using it since pre-pandemic, I believe, like right before. And I actually use it more than like sitting at my computer, but like I can sit at my computer and use Ravelry, and I know some people possibly still can't. And so I'm wondering if that app helps with folks being able to use it. So let me know down below if that helps, because then that would be a way for you to like use that site, but like not in a way that is like gonna be harmful to you in any way. Yeah, okay, so that's that. So ArtusPeace cow is the hashtag. We're gonna do a Zoom on the 1st, possibly 2 others. I'll think about it. Yeah, I wanna know what colors you're using. I wanna know all that. All right, anyway, I've just chatted and shouted at you for long enough. I don't think that this is gonna be a long one, says every podcaster, and then proceeds to record for 2 hours. So let's see what happens. I have 3 FOs to show you all today. 1 whip, 2 things that are about to be cast on literally this weekend. Yeah, literally this weekend, probably after I'm done recording this, if I'm being honest. Yeah, and then I have a show recommendation for some of you. All right, anyway, let's get into it. All right, first thing, oh, don't drop stuff. First thing is, we're gonna start off with same but different. I finished my, oh my gosh, these are just so fun. I finished my sunfish socks. So these are Woolens And Nosh. Her 90-10 superwash tardy 10% nylon base, and this is in the colorway Sunfish. I'm obsessed. It's a simple 3-color repeat socks with this bright tangerine orange mini that came with it. I love it. They match kind of perfectly, actually. I'm not gonna lie. So for all of my socks, if this is your first time here and you want to hear the spiel of how I do mine, I do them toe up, magic loop. Toe up, magic loop. Yeah, two at a time. Two at a time. I start with a Turkish cast on, and then I increase till there are 68 stitches, and then I just knit until I'm almost out of yarn. And then so for these, you can see I started the ribbing as part of the skein. Sorry, all the words escaped my head. And so I ended up, once I added the mini, I did about 15 rows of 1x1 twisted rib or half twisted rib, however you want to, it's like I'm only twisting the knits. So is that half? Sure. And then I do Oh Girls Stretchy Bind Off at the end. And then I go back and I cut in for my Afterthought heel. I love that these ended up being right in between the blue. Yeah. They're great. I love the color. I think they're so cute. There's like nothing much to say about them. I do think that for me, it was fun. I don't know if I said this last time, but just because I'm a part of the mystery club for Woolens And Nosh. Have you all seen, sorry, this is where my brain goes. Have you all seen that clip of Cardi B and Patti LaBelle, and Patty's asking Cardi to do the thing, the like tongue roll thing, and Patti tries to do it and she just goes, I've been trying to do it, and I just go, look it up, it's hilarious. I feel like that's what I just did. So I like that these are more of a basic 3-color stripe. I thought that they were really fun. I love the blue and the gray. I think they're super cute, and that tangerine is off the charts. 10 out of 10, would recommend. Yeah, that's all I have to say about these. Good times. We're just gonna plow through all of this. It's giving 20-minute episode. All right, my second FO is another, I can't believe I finished 2 pairs. I mean, I can and I can't believe that I finished 2 pairs of socks, but I was kind of working on them sort of at the same time. And honestly, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that those, well, and I talked about it last time too, those socks that I just showed were like I would take them when I commuted sometimes, but they were like my middle of the night. Like if I would wake up in the middle of the night and I couldn't go back to sleep, they would just sit by my bedside. And a lot of you, we're very like thankful that I mentioned that in the last episode. Just cause like, whatever, a lot of us deal with similar things. Like we can't all be the only person that's dealing with something. Yeah. And so like for my insomnia or my anxiety or whatever, in the middle of the night, I would just like sit, knit, count until I like pass back out to go to sleep, which has been really helpful. So like on Instagram, I called these are my, middle of the night, I should be sleeping or I need to be sleeping socks, because I literally knit them at like the bulk of them at like 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Okay, moving right along. I also finished my November Mystery Club colorway from Woolens And Nosh. These are also matchy-matchy. These are in the colorway Holographic Glow. Again, it's the same base, the 90-10 Superwash Targhee, 10% nylon. It's 411 yards for 100 grams. Same deal, toe up, knit until I'm done, Afterthought heel. These ones ended up being like right in between that yellow and blue stripe, which is kind of fun. And I did the same thing on these. I started the ribbing in the last color before I wanted to do the ribbing. And actually with these, you can see here the dark blue, which is the same color as the mini, was next. And so I just did that too. And then I used a little bit less of the mini to do the ribbing, but also 15 rounds for those. Cut in my heel, and then that was that. I mean, there's not much to say. These are great. I am excited that the Mystery Club will start back up at the beginning of the year. While I loved watching everyone knit their Advent socks from Woolens And Nosh this year, I was like, oh, I wish there was a December color. But also, I was like knitting 2 pair of Woolens And Nosh during the month of December, so like it's totally fine. Also, oh my gosh, can we talk about this? So at the time of me recording this, Les Garçons does their collab week after the holidays. And I think it's 3 days or something. And today's was a collaboration between Woolens And Nosh and Les Garçons. And I was happy enough that I like logged on at the right time, saw it, clicked on the link, add to cart, have Apple Pay, didn't have to type any information in, checked out, secured the skein. I'm so excited. When that comes, I will obviously show it to all of you, but I'm very excited about that. All right, so this was the second color. These are Holographic Glow. These were the November Mystery Yarn Club socks. Love them. They're super bright. Good times. Great Lakes. Pure Michigan. All right, and let me have a sip. I'm feeling a little raspy again. All right, the last FO that I have, I can't believe it's been 2 episodes that I've finished sweaters. That to me is a little bit wild, although I did take a pause on this to finish my, what is that called? It literally just came out. The Officer Sweater by Maxim Cyr, because that was on a deadline. I took a break from this. I am excited that now this is complete. So this is the Seaside Tee by Cheryl Mukhtari. I believe that's how you pronounce her last name. Mukhtari. Who knows? Well, she does. It's her name. So this was all knit using stuff that I had in stash. The stripes are Fonty. Tartan 6, and the main color, which is the brown, is Lion Brand Fisherman Wool in Brown Heather. The stripes were originally for another sweater, and they told me that they did not want to be that sweater in the end. And if I'm being honest, I'm happy that they're not, because I think that this is really awesome. Okay, so there's kind of a lot to talk about, sort of, with this. I'm gonna slightly stand up. I don't know why, but I'm gonna slightly stand up so that you can see that it's short sleeved. And the colors go all the way down. So let's chat about this, shall we? A couple of things. One, I finished this, woven on the ends, and I just gave it a steam block. I haven't given it a proper soak yet, but I do plan on doing that because I do think that there is just like a pinch more relaxation that could happen within the fiber and the fabric, and I want to see if that holds true. So a couple of things. Last time I showed you, I only had one more color repeat to finish the body, and then it was time for me to do the hem of the sweater. And so I did that. This is knit on a US 4. And then I think that the hem is supposed to be done on like a size that I don't have. So I just did all the ribbing on a 2, which was fine for me. I like the vibe of it. The cast off for the hem, I bound off in pattern, but going the opposite way, which if you've been here, you know that that's like something I've really been enjoying. I did it on my socks too, even though I did the stretchy bind off. I just like the way that it lays a little bit better. And then, so once that was done, I went in and I was gonna do the sleeves 2 at a time, voice crack, 2 at a time, but I decided that I would just do them 1 at a time. Why did I do that? Oh, because I didn't want to be pulling from the inside and the outside of 2 balls of yarn. I thought that was just going to be very chaotic. So I just opted to do 1 and 1. And since they're short sleeves, it was totally fine. And also too, if you can, you can sort of see here, like I split for sleeves 2 rows into this brown. So I just had to do 3. I think my stripes are 5 rows each, and then do 1 color repeat and then add the ribbing to the sleeve. So it didn't take me very long. I just like zip, 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 get her done, zip, 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 get her done on the other sleeve. Now, and then I actually think I picked up for the collar first. Now, a couple of things. I was worried that the shoulders weren't gonna lay the way that I wanted them to. I will say that it does it sticks up a little bit on the sides and in the back, which is why I want to give it a wet block just to see if it relaxes a little bit more. And also too, I will say that for the neck, I definitely knit longer than the pattern said. I think I did like 1.5 inches. Just because that's the way that I like my collars to be. I don't need like a swoopy doopy number all the time. So it's gonna stick up a little bit in the back too because there's more fabric there that I don't think is actually there the way that the pattern is written. So I'm hoping that once I wet block it, it will relax a little bit more, especially the shoulder area. I was nervous that it wasn't gonna hit in the right spot, and honestly, I think it's fine. It lays fine. I think the fit is pretty good. Yeah, and I'm excited that I have a short sleeve sweater. I will say a couple things that are fun to me about this is the way that the stripes, sorry, again, words are flying out of my head. The stripes on the sleeve, like when my arms are down, here, I'll stand up a little bit again. When my arms are down, they line up and match with the body of the sweater perfectly. And I am obsessed with that. So that's fun. The other thing that I did for the collar and on the cuffs of the sleeves is I tried doing a sewn Italian bind off, which I think that's also a tubular bind off. I don't really know. A lot of things were coming up when I did a Google search and when I did a search on YouTube for a sewn Italian bind off. I didn't want to do it on the hem because, let's be honest, like doing 3 times the amount of yarn so that you can do it for the hem, while I'm sure some of you think that that is beautiful, that was not my ministry that day. I was like, this just needs to be bound off and we got to keep it pushing. I don't want to spend the time doing that. But because I'd never done it before, once I got to the neck and the sleeves, I was like, oh, these are fewer stitches. Like, I'll definitely give it a try. And I feel like it was one of those things that I knew wasn't difficult, but I was like, oof, that just seems like it's just being so extra. And it is, like, it's very extra. But the finish of it is hot. So, right. I know why some of you all are like, oh my gosh, I'm always doing this bind off. It's so good. Because it is so good. It just, I mean, you can't even see. And I'm not going to stick my arm up over there. But just like the way that it finishes is super sexy. And I'm here for it. And I'm sure at some point I will bite the bullet and I'll do it on the hem of a garment. But just for this, I was like, I don't have the time. I want this to be done and over with. So that's that. I think it's great. I love the colors. I think it's very chill. It's a little autumny, but I mean, it's not very cold here in Chicago. So I will probably get some use out of it during this season and into the spring, even though it's not very spring-y. It is great. The other thing that I will say about this is I knit I don't have the pattern. I do have the pattern. So this has 7 sizes. I knit the extra large, which was for 117.5 centimeter bust circumference. Friends, you can do the math. And there's only one size after that. And so, like, which is for 128 centimeter bust size. Also, you all can do the math. Which I have thoughts, right? So, like, I know that, or I've been pondering something. Let me say that. I know that we've, as a community, have been talking a lot about size inclusivity, right? And, like, I'm definitely falling into that because, like, I saw this and I wanted to make it and I was like, oh, okay, I can do this size, but there's only one after me, right? And so, like, I'm sharing the pattern with you all as well. And maybe there's some friends who maybe need a size bigger than what's offered in the pattern. And there's probably some friends too who, like, need a size that's smaller than what's written in the pattern. And so, like, I was just, maybe someone has more information than me because I don't know all things, right? None of us do. We don't know what we don't know. But just what I've been thinking about lately and in listening to the discussion around size inclusivity is, like, are we, no, that's not how I want to say it. Does the designer's country of origin and the sizing there influence the pattern, design, and sizing in which they write for, right? Does that make sense? So, like, if I were Japanese and my, largest audience is people who are Japanese, I know for me as an American, like, that sizing isn't gonna fit me because, like, I don't have that frame, right? And so, like, I've just been thinking about that lately because it's like, oh, well, this pattern isn't size inclusive. And then I'm like, oh, well, like, what's the, like, is it inclusive for the region in which they are from? You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's their biggest demographic of people who are knitting, crocheting their objects. Like, is that size inclusive for that audience? But, like, because I am from someplace else, I don't think it's size inclusive because my reference point is for a group of people who have different body types or body types that aren't similar to where those people are from. Does that make sense? I hope so. Yeah, it's just been something I've been thinking about because I'm like, oh, well, again, like, I've never been to Japan. I want to go to Japan. It's on my bucket list of, like, places I need to visit before time ends, right? And I know because I have friends who are from there, like, I am not going to go shopping when I go there. I'm going to get, like, other things while I'm there because my body's different than them. Like, I'm taller because I danced. I have thighs, I have calves, and I have a tuchus. And so, like, pants aren't going to fit me. You know what I mean? And, like, probably shirts either. So, like, I can't be mad at them for that. It's like, well, your sizing isn't for the people, isn't, like, made for what's here. So that's just something I've been thinking about. And that's not a negative. It's just, like, I don't know. It's a thing that I wonder if other people have noticed as well. So, like, sound off, holler back, let me know. But, like, I want everyone to be able to knit whatever they want, obviously, because I fall in that camp too. It's just, I don't know. I want us all to be more thoughtful before we just, like, get mad and completely not dismiss, that sounds so harsh, but just, like, be like, oh, this person doesn't design things that, like, fit people with my body. Because maybe it's not just a matter of they're not grading it to your size. It could just be their reference point is different. You know what I mean? I don't know. Just a thought. Look, that doesn't mean come after me and at me in the comments either, being like, you are blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that at all. And if you're here and you're a part of this community, you know that like I have no ill intent at all. It's just literally something I've been thinking about. Okay, anyway, moving right along. So this is the Seaside Tee. If you want, go and knit it. If you don't, to the left, to the left. There are other short sleeve tees that you, with stripes that you might like better. I can think of a couple off the top of my head. All right, let's get into let's get into a whip that I have. All right, so I cast off those other socks, and because I have to have a pair of socks on the needles. You know, was it this year or was it the year before? Maybe it was 22. One of my like I want tos at the beginning of the year was I wanted to make more socks, and like you definitely done that. Okay, so these are this is yarn. The yarn that I'm using is from Geektastic Fibers. This was a gift that a friend of the pod sent me. And this is in their superhero sock. It's a 75-25 superwash merino, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's 437 yards. And this is in Meisner Brothers. I think that's right. When I originally showed this, a bunch of you were like, oh, it's this like claymation thing. You should go and check it out. And like, I didn't check it out. And now I should, because like when I went to go use this, I looked them up and it's like a Christmas thing. So I just need to find out where it's streaming and I can go and watch it. Anyway, excited. So here's how those are knitting up. I almost said like, if you don't want to see, look away, but like, what are you talking about? It doesn't matter. I don't need to show you the cakes. It's just cakes. There doesn't have a mini, so it's just these. So we have our fiery colors, we have our cooler colors. Again, these are 2 at a time magic loop US ones. I don't think I said that last time. Turkish cast on, increased to 68 stitches, and then just I'm gonna knit until the gods tell me to stop. I'll do a cut in afterthought heel, and since there's no mini, hopefully it will stop in the middle of a color. If not, like whatever, who cares? But I'm loving these. These are fun. Little stripy number. In order to, because I'm sure someone's thinking it, in order to get them to match, I cake up my yarn and then I weigh it and then I wind it again. You know, let's say it's, I don't know, 95 grams and not 100, because sometimes that happens. I just will divide that in half. I'll wind it till I get roughly that number. And I'm starting with the same color that I started with when I started caking it up at first. And then if I'm not using a mini, I will then just like go to the next color break and then pick up or like cast on right at that break. So then like they'll match better. Yeah, these are fun. It's so funny. I'm sure I've said this before on here, but like, because I use Michelle from Woolens And Nosh, I use her base so much. It's a little bit plumper, a little bit thicker, just because of the composition of the yarn. To go to a 75-25 it always takes me aback a little bit. I'm like, oh, this is like so thin, but it's not. It's just, I mean, it is not thin in the sense that like these aren't going to be warm. You know what I mean? It just feels different in my hands. It's so funny. It's very interesting. So yeah, I'm loving these. I think they're very fun. I can't wait for them to be done. Which these have taken over as my transit / middle of the night knitting. So I'm sure they'll be done soon enough. These are living in a, can you guess? That's right. A beautiful sister bag. These have little bees on them because, I mean, if you know, you know. Okay, that's all I'm currently working on, which is crazy. Crazy wilds. So I have two things. Oops, this goes in that bag. I have two things that are going to be cast on today, actually. One of them I've swatched for. The other one I don't need to swatch for because I've made it twice, 3 times. I don't remember. 2 or 3 times already. And I don't just watch for it. So first up is, and I've shown you all this pattern before. It is the Lulu Slipover by Petite Knit. So it's this little number. My friend sent me like the reel of this before it came out, and I was like, "Oh, are you in the market for one of these?" And she's like, "Oh yeah." Her husband knits. He doesn't knit very much anymore, but he's the one who taught me how to knit. And so she was interested in having it in the same color. And so I just bought the yarn that it was called for, or that was used in the sample. So that's fun because I'm using something that I haven't used before. So this is the Peer Gynt, or the, what is this called? Sandnes Garn. And the Petite Knit Peer Gynt in the color Charcoal Melange. You can't see that. It's giving blown out. It's giving, we can't see anything. Can you see it? There we go. Kind of. Anyway, it's a beautiful gray. So it smells so good. I swatched for it. It just wanted to be on the floor. I swatched for it. Love the fabric that it made. And I got, I think it calls for, literally the pattern's in my lap. It calls for a 20 stitch gauge in stockinette, which is like the bulk of it. I didn't do a swatch for the double knitting because I was like, whatever, it's fine. Anyway, it's 20 stitches. I'm getting like 21, so I think it's fine. I'm just going to cast on with the recommended size. I'm going to do the second size, so the extra small, which is, oh, no. Is that right? Yes, I'm going to do the extra small, which is written to have a 41 and a 1/4 inch bust. So this goes from 39 all the way up to 63.5 inch bust. And I'm gonna do the extra small. And it's supposed to have like 8 inches of positive ease. And so because I'm getting 1 stitch more, I'm gonna be slightly smaller than what the pattern calls for in the end, but it's fine because it will actually give me the sizing that I need for my friend. Do you know what I mean? So that kind of worked out. So I'm just going to use the size that I need, and I'm going to use this. This is 100% wool, by the way. I didn't say that. This is, I should have looked before I started, but of course I didn't. It's 100% wool, Norwegian wool. It's 50 grams. Oh, it's 91 meters for 50 grams. Good times. So this is going to be cast on today. I'm very excited about that. And then the second thing that I don't have a pattern for, but I do have the yarn. Well, I have the pattern. I've made it a couple of times. A friend of mine loves, I should say, a coworker friend of mine loves my dotted rays that I've made. Mine that I've been wearing a lot lately, that's been in heavy rotation, is, I wish I would have brought it with me. It's knit out of Trilogy yarn in Nancy's MCN base, so merino cashmere nylon. And it's like a green number. It's beautiful. I love wearing it. It's like been the only thing I go for lately, which is funny because usually I just will like rotate shawls out, but I've been really loving that one. Anyway, he was like, oh my gosh, I love that thing you have with like the white border. It's so beautiful. Like, could you make me one if I buy the yarn? And I'm like, yeah, if you buy the yarn, go for it. So this was the color palette that he came up with. I sent him to a local yarn shop. He knew nothing about anything. So I gave him yarn requirements, told him to go in the store, feel things, ask the shop owner. She's very nice, talk to her, blah, 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 blah. So he came back with these, and these are all beehive yarns. I'll try to show the tag here. I just don't want to pull it out too much. So this is beehive yarn, and I want to say that they're like a house dyer for them. Questionable. So this is in the dusty base. This is 80 superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. He went after what mine was after, or knit in. And these are 437 yards for 100 grams. This is in the color, that's not going back in there. This is in the color Sunflower. This is in the color, so this one has like all the colors, or both colors and then some. This is Tapestry, and this is Raven Red. So I'm gonna do them in this order. That's why I stacked them that way. He was like, yeah, this can be in the middle, this could be closer to my face, this could be the border. And so I'm gonna play around with fading. I also saw, what did I say what it's for? Oh yeah, I did, dotted race, okay. Stephen West. I also saw some people knit it where like there were like stripes. So it was like each section of the rays would be like different. So I thought about fading it that way as well. I think I'm just gonna let the yarn speak to me as it's being knit up, and then I'll go from there. Like if I have to just like do a normal fade, I will do that. But I kind of wanted to be a little bit playful with it just because I feel like they might like that as a vibe actually. But we'll see. If not, maybe I'll try it, and then if they don't like it, I'll just rip it out. It's fine. Yeah, good times. So those are two things that I'm gonna be casting on this weekend. And then the last thing that I wanted to show, just because it's a little bit sad, is I got my last issue of Pom Pom Quarterly, the spring of 2024 issue in the mail. I'm obsessed with this. So my roommates, I've knit for both of them. You all have seen things that I've knit for them here on the podcast, and so I opened it, and they knew that this was going to be ending as well because I like told them, and I've made my roommate, I made her a bunch of things from Pom Pom, and so I opened, they're like, oh, it's the last one. I'm like, I know, but like, look at this thing on the cover. And my other roommate, he was like, wait a minute, what is happening on the cover of this? And I was like, I know. So this is, I think it's called the Fortuna. Let me just double check because I don't want to be saying the wrong thing. Fortuna's Wheel. And it's just epic. And it's pants and a sweater. And there's a part of me that wants to make this for him just because I think it would be so funny. That's so much work though, but it would be hilarious. And I know he would love it. It's probably not gonna happen, but yeah, there's some beautiful things in here. This is the Tuskift. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right. I'm not a vest person, or I don't think that I am, but like I'm obsessed with this. I'm like, I want one. It's so pretty. Yeah, so if you, oh God, this sweater is beautiful too, by the way. What is this? Coverlet? She's gorge. Yeah, so pretty. So yeah, if you're in the market and you want to get, this issue when it's in your LYS, or from some person, if you don't have an LYS, you can get it online. Good times, Great Lakes, Pure Michigan. All right, so that is that on that for this episode. The last thing that I will leave you with is not a music recommendation, but it is a music documentary that I think some of you might enjoy. If you have Apple TV Plus, I don't really talk about like what I'm watching on here very much or what I'm reading, which that's okay. That's maybe not the vibe. And a lot of you have been like, we love that you talk about music. Something that I've been watching lately is there's a documentary on there. It is in 8 parts. I think I have 2 episodes left. So I've watched enough to know that I can recommend it. Is this documentary called 1971. I think the tagline is like the year music changed everything or something like that. Anyway, 1971. It's on Apple TV Plus. Anyway, it is just about music that came out that year, and how it was a very big year for a lot of different things in music to start happening, and people who came onto the scene, and like different albums that came out, especially with what was going on. The focus, not obviously, but the focus is more here in the States and a little bit in Europe. Yeah. Just like those artists, well, a couple European artists, British, whatever, people from across the pond. Music, and it's been great. Like, I've really been enjoying it. I'm not like of that time period, but I do like the music from that time period. So it's, you know, there's David Bowie and Sly and the Family Stone and Aretha Franklin, Elton John, Carole King. Like, I know a lot of this music, and so it was just nice to see it presented in this way, that during this year, all of this stuff was happening. And it was, you know, some of it in response to what was going on in the world, just like what was happening musically, how things were able to slip in. You know, the start of like glam rock comes into play during that year. Super fascinating, definitely. And I'm not even done with it yet. I have 2 more episodes to go. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Obviously, I'm talking about it here. So go and check that out if that sounds like something that might be up your alley. Yeah, if you do, or if you've watched it, let me know down below. Yeah, and that's it, you guys. So if you are going to join for the Artus Shawl make-along, and you want to join in the cast-on party that allegedly I'm doing on the 1st at 11 a.m. Central Time, fill out the form below, and I will send out the Zoom information to all of you, and we can cast on January 1st all together. I'm super excited about that. And if that's not your jam, but you still want to play along, remember you can use the hashtag ArtusPeaceCal over on Instagram. Yeah, I hope that the final couple days for 2023 are good for you all. And I hope that the start of the new year, oh my gosh, I hope that the start of the new year isn't as dry and raspy as my voice. I hope that the start of the new year for all of us is one of excitement and new beginnings, and yeah, just looking forward to the possibility of what we can make in the new year. So with that being said, until I see you in the new year, or I see you on the 1st, make a peace, spread some peace, peace.